With Halloween officially past us, we have officially entered the holiday season. Christmas decorations are already loaded onto shelves, and I'm one to always try to add to my setup year over year. As you can see from my Halloween setup, we always try to go big with the holidays, and this year is no exception. Well, this year at Sam's Club, they actually got in stock the Govee Permanent Outdoor Lights. And I decided to finally go permanent with my outdoor lighting and purchase the 100-foot kit, which I'm going to go over with you today. Hey everyone, it's Max, and I've got something completely different today. Today, I'm going to go over, unbox, and install the Govee Permanent Outdoor Lights, and I'm going to give my first impression of what I think of this product. Like I said, I bought these at our local Sam's Club, and this 100-foot strand ran me $229. On Govee's actual site, with their current sale, this would cost almost $300, so if you have the option, definitely get these from Sam's. Now, the 100-foot strand is definitely going to be a tight run around my house, but I think it will be just enough to cover the space I need. These attach using a heavy-duty 3M strip adhesive and also come with screws and clips, and these are supposed to be added every 4 feet or so to add extra support to the wire, although the 3M strip is supposedly enough to be permanent all year long. These lights are all-weather in design and are rated for 50,000 hours of use, so plenty of time if you're only using them during holiday seasons and only turning them on for a few hours at night. So first and foremost, let's get into what's in the box. We have some setup options, the full user manual, and it looks like some quick start installation guides. I have all of our boxes for our actual hardware. Oh, this is actually the control piece to power these on and off. This is an extension run. I am glad they actually included this because when I was looking at the back of the box, it did not list the extension run. This allows you to actually do jumps between sets of wires so you don't have lights threading up and down the side of the house, for example, which I absolutely will need as a part of my installation. And here we have the power brick, a nice long wiring. I'll be running this through my attic down through the soffit, which I will show later after I install it. And then I'm guessing the remainder of these boxes is going to be our lights themselves. Yep. I don't want to get these two all bunched out right now because I want to keep them consolidated for the install. It's a 16.67 feet of light strands, 1 control box, 1 QSG card, 1 power adapter, and the user manual. Now this is where I was concerned when I first was actually looking at the box because I'd seen online that it was supposed to come with the extension cable, which I need for a jump between 2 areas of my roof that require lighting. And when I didn't see that there, I thought maybe that the version that Sam's Club had did not actually include this extension cable. Very glad to see that this is in there because I will absolutely need this as a part of my installation. But just to finish double checking what's in the boxes, we have some more hardware, some additional sticky 3M pads. In the final box, this should be the remainder of the light strands and more hardware, so the exact same thing as the other box we just opened. So let's get into the install. I'm gonna have to do some of the pre-wiring prior to filming because I'm gonna be crawling around my attic, but I will definitely show you the methodology that I use as I go through that, and then the final result, obviously. The one thing you're also gonna wanna make sure to do before you start installing is to daisy chain everything together and plug it in to make sure lights are functioning correctly. Last thing you wanna do is spend hours climbing and scampering across your roof to set these up just to find out you have any dead lights. So go ahead and plug them in, extension included, to make sure that also is functioning properly, and take a look at the lights to make sure that all of them are lighting up as they should be. So the first thing I had to deal with installation was the power source. I promised my wife that I wouldn't have extension cords and wires running all over the exterior of the house if this was going to be permanent, so that meant running wiring from our attic outlet out through the roof. For my situation, I used a metal rod to prop up the aluminum soffitting. From there, in the attic, I was able to go across the joists and actually access the point in which that rod was protruding. Then I fed a power cord from the Govee light kit down into that space where I was able to easily grab and pull it through from the outside. Back in the attic, I was able to mount the control panel and power brick to the roofing supports to make them more easily accessible, and then connected that power cable to an extension cord so it could reach all the way around my attic to where the outlet was placed. My biggest tip here is just be careful in your attic. We have blown insulation all over the place, so I really had to feel around for those joists. There's definitely better ways to do that, like laying plywood across your joists to make an easier workspace. I was just moving kind of quick and chose to feel my way around, but definitely would recommend, if you had the time, to create a safe workspace to do something like that. When this was done, I removed the rod and the soffit snapped back in place, and the wiring was actually thin enough that when it laid down, it laid flat without me having to cut or drill into the soffitting to create a space for it to run up. If you do this, I would just be cautious with your wiring to make sure that the edge of your soffit, if it's aluminum, doesn't cut or damage the wire itself and create a short. From here, we moved on to what took up the bulk of the time with the install, which is actually mounting and installing the lights onto the roof itself. Like I said at the beginning of this video, each light has a heavy-duty 3M strip on the back that you simply peel off the cover for and press into place as you hang the lights. The kit also comes with clips that are supposed to be drilled every 4 feet as needed to add additional permanent support. Now, for my specific setup and install, I deviated from the directions for that install in a few ways. Firstly, the directions instruct you to place the lights 3 to 5 inches from the wall for the best effect. I opted to instead place mine against where the soffit met the corner edge of the trim. This allowed me to create a straight line with the lights as I just used that edging as a guide. This was closer to 8 inches from the wall, but it was still a very effective way to do this and meant I didn't have to measure as I went to make sure that everything was in a straight line. The only exception to this was when I ran the lights along my front porch roof, since having the lights further away from the wall meant that a longer shadow is cast down before the light actually hits the house. I was concerned that placing the lights that far away from the area would have them casting beyond its actual surface area, making the effect not as good. I therefore put these closer to 3 inches from the edge of the porch so that the awning could capture that light, and you can see the effect in the 2 positions in the video that I put up now, and both approaches worked great for my personal needs. The next thing that I did differently ties to the soffitting. Now, I have aluminum soffitting that is filled with holes for air circulation and also has grooves every few inches or so. This means that every so often when I was placing a light up against that area, it hit one of these grooves, which meant the adhesive was not getting its full area pressed up against anything. In these cases, I used the clips for additional support right against that light to make sure that it had that extra support and did not wear out faster than if I was able to place it flush against the surface. Now, all of these clips come with their own screws, but since my soffit was aluminum and it already had holes in it, I figured I could just repurpose the holes that are in the soffitting to screw the clips into. The only trouble here was that the screws that the kit came with were far too skinny for the holes in my soffitting. I therefore had to use a thicker set of screws that would fit both in the holes in the clips, but also grab onto the soffit holing. I had a kit of stainless screws on hand, which was perfect for this, and to make things easier when I was going up on the ladder, I pre-drilled each clip with these new screws so that I was only going part of the way once I got up there to mount these. This worked out perfectly, and if you want to do this too, my only advice is just to make sure that you are using screws that are waterproof. The last thing you want is for them to start rusting against your siding. But yeah, that was my strategy. I tried to put the clips up every 4 feet as the directions recommended, but I would deviate every now and then. If I had a light that wasn't completely adhered, I'd make sure to put a clip next to that. Or if I had to run the wire at some weird angle or make an unusual turn, in those cases I also would put another clip so that I could guide the wire where it needed to go. Honestly, this whole process was pretty simple, with the only difficulties really tying to difficult areas to reach on the roof. The most difficult area that I had to deal with was the peak of my porch, which required me to use a ladder on a sloped roof. Luckily, I had my brother over here to help me, and he held the ladder in place while I was climbing up that section, but I am no expert in ladder safety, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that method. It's just what I did to access that area. I also used a 12-foot extension jump wire that allows you to have lights jump from one section to another with no lights on the extension in between, to run from the end of my second story down to my first story without having a ton of lights just running along the side of my house to make a single strand. Once that was installed, I just tucked that wire into the siding trim so it wasn't visible from the outside of the house. And so this whole mounting process took about 2 hours. When I was all done, I hit the roadblock of my 100-foot strand, being a bit short and not covering my third car garage. I think when I was doing my measurements, I underestimated the length needed to get up and down the peak since I couldn't really measure up there until I started actually doing the work. So I did what any of us do when we need something short notice. I went to Amazon. And here I was able to get another 16.7 foot strand for about 50 bucks. And that was the last thing I needed to complete this install. And let me tell you, these things are awesome. I love the different light combos. They actually have all sorts of different options and effects for different holidays or events. They're holding up really well so far for the week that they've been up. And most importantly, they don't stand out during the day unless you're really looking for them. People that come over don't even realize they're there until I say, hey, take a look what we just installed, which is great because theoretically they're going to be up there forever. And they have a plethora of different options and variations for the lighting that can be used. You don't just have to use crazy effects for the holidays. You can also set these to be accent lightings in very normal or muted colors. And the app has built-in features where you can actually go through your strand and assign light by light the color and effect that you want to use. So I would have to say, all in all, this is a pretty amazing product for a very solid price, especially compared to the cost of professional install, and remembering the fact that once these are up, they never have to come down. Again, my 100-foot kit cost $230, and the one extension I had to buy to finish my run was another $50. So figure about $280 all in all for 116 feet of lights, which actually covers 120 feet of area when you count the 12-foot jump that I did, even if it's not a lighted section. Covering that same distance with regular LED holiday lights will likely run you $60 to $100 depending on what you get. So honestly, it's not really that crazy of a price tag difference when you compare what you're getting and the benefits and experience you get from going with the Govee Permanent Lights. Now, obviously, I'm a huge fan of these lights, but there are definitely a few cons that I think are worth mentioning. And really, these all come back to the flexibility and availability of offerings from Govee themselves. First of all, the strands are all set at 16.7 feet. That means you have to fit that type of strand setup with whatever measurements for your roof that you're having to use. For example, if you happen to be doing your roof and you have an 8-foot run left and a strand ends, too bad, you have to use a complete 16-foot strand where you will have 8 feet of extra slack, or else end there and have 8 feet of unlit territory. It would be nice to have more options and variations in lighting lengths. You can actually see that effect on my own roof, where you see about 4 feet of extra lighting going down the house after that one peak, where I just simply had extra lights to run and nowhere to put them and no shorter cord to use. And yes, you can manually turn these lights off within the app, but then A, you're wasting lights that you did pay for, and B, if you're using preset effects, it doesn't remember that by default, and so it doesn't really work all that smoothly. Govee also does not provide any additional accessories beyond full lighted line extensions. It would have been really nice to have the ability to buy additional extension wires that don't have the lights on them, just to have added flexibility to jump from one section of my roof to the other without having to run a completely separate set of lights. If I ever did want to do that second peak on my house, it's not like I can just buy an extension cord to run up to it and then do a couple strands of lights. I would have to buy an entirely new kit. So I really wish Govee gave me the opportunity to buy more of those jump cables so that I could really stretch the lights wherever I wanted on the house without always having to commit to having the lights on those strands. And sure, either of these issues can be solved if you're willing to either modify a third-party cable to create an extension cord or cut and cap your wires, but Govee doesn't recommend doing this, and I, for one, am not about to do something like that on something that I spent almost $300 on. I just really don't know why they didn't go ahead and add a slew of additional options to buy with the kits, including additional extension wires, or lights in smaller segments in case you just had to cover some small distance. It just doesn't really make sense to me since it could be another revenue stream for the company, and it seems like it could be something that was fairly easy to do. But all that to say, I do love these lights, I love the way they look, and now I'm tempted to get another shorter line and rent a ladder so I can get up to that second peak on my house that you've seen in videos, so I can finish doing the lighting up there. Now that might have to be a next season activity given the amount of money I've already spent, but if you have the time and the resources to make this happen, I'm definitely one that would recommend these lights for your permanent holiday light solution. You will have the standout house in your neighborhood if you put these on. That's all I had to talk about today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the lights in the comments, as well as any experience you may have had with Govee or their products. This is also my first non-Tesla related video, so I am very interested in your thoughts on that. I always had the intent to make this channel more broadly about technology that I was using, so while I'm still focusing on Tesla content, I'm hoping to also sprinkle in videos such as this relating to tech and smart home things that I'm using as I come into possession of those type of items. So if you like this content and you want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe to see more. As always, thank you for watching. Until next time.